Hello there. Welcome to the Smart Money, Dumb Money Show, and my name is Keith Richards. I'm your host, and I am the President and Chief Portfolio Manager of Volatile Wealth Management, and I'm also the Chief Cook and Bottle Washer. I sometimes even clean the toilets. So today we're going to talk about my least favorite subject, but I know it's some people's favorite subject, so it doesn't matter what I like, it's what you like. And that's what this show is all about. So some people have a very high interest in cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin. And the reason I don't really care to discuss these vehicles is because I don't like to talk about or trade what I don't understand. And I really do not have an opinion, certainly not an informed opinion, on whether these vehicles will ever be a currency replacement, whether they are a good inflation hedge. Are they an inflation hedge that will help bet against declining currencies throughout the world, or just the US dollar? Are they a replacement for gold and the gold standard that some people hearken back to, the days of the gold standard? I can't answer any of these questions. I really don't understand cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin enough to comment, other than from a technical analysis perspective. So today, guess what we're going to do? We're going to look at some charts, and we're going to get right to it because it's really just one chart. I'm going to look at sort of a midterm view of the Bitcoin index, which is the New York Stock Exchange Bitcoin index. And then I'm going to look at the daily view. So we'll just see if we can take a look at from a trader's perspective. For those of you who do understand cryptocurrency, myself not being one of them, we'll look at the technical potential of this particular vehicle, Bitcoin, and see what the charts have to tell us. So this is a weekly chart of, as you can see in the top left, the New York Stock Exchange Bitcoin Index, right? And you don't really have the ability to draw a long-term chart of Bitcoin because it's really not been around that long, but we've got a few years of data here going back to 2017. And what you can see is that the Bitcoin index moved in a large right-angled triangle. So a symmetrical triangle is a little bit different in that it has a more of a rhythmic looking symmetry. This is more of a right angle to it. It's probably not a perfect right angle triangle, but it's good enough for me. All we're looking for with the triangle and all it signifies is that volatility some time ago, going back to 2017, was very high. You can see the swing from whatever this was, maybe $1,000 or 1,000 points, to at one point 15,000, and then it fell to 2,500 and on. But you'll notice the volatility got smaller and smaller. And this is what forms a triangle. And the market does not like stagnation. And whenever you get any security, a stock, the stock market, an index, whatever, a currency, anytime you see consolidation as the pattern gets narrower and you go from a period of high volatility to a period of extremely low volatility, you know that's not going to last, because what happens is, particularly with something that had volatility in its past, the market players are going to give it that oomph up or down once again at some time in the future. It's almost a foregone conclusion. So the trick with any triangle is to watch which way it breaks out. And in this case, it obviously broke out to the upside, perfect breakout. And if you are an old school technical guy like me, you measure the former length of volatility, and then you extrapolate it forward and you use that as a target. And that might have come close to being achieving. So that's achieved, I should say. So that is a indication that the triangle proved to be accurate. So in the meantime, you'll notice that Bitcoin has been in a very rough, volatile looking uptrend. And it does look like it's kind of rounded over on that uptrend, but didn't quite touch the trend line. The 50-day, which is in this case, it's a weekly chart, So it is a 10-week moving average crossed down bearishly through the 200-day, which is a 40-week moving average in this case. You're looking at a technically somewhat bearish cross, but these crosses don't always mean bad news. Now here it did, okay, so we should be aware of that, but the positives on the chart that I'm looking at here is if we look at the weekly stochastics, it's actually created a higher low here, and it's hooked up from a very oversold position. RSI didn't get super oversold, but it certainly reached the bottom of its general momentum, and it looks like it's hooked up quite nicely. This is comparative strength to the in this case to the New York Stock Exchange, the S&P 500, I should say. So the Bitcoin index is starting to gain some traction against the market, the stock market. And probably the most significant thing I'm seeing here is the MACD, which is a nice histogram hook up. It's about to cross the zero line. And you can see that the MACD, as a similar manner, wants to cross its own moving average here. Okay, so it's a few factors that we're looking at here that suggest that maybe Bitcoin is going to continue this uptrend. Now, could it fall to the trend line? Yes, it could. And so I'm not sure that today would be the day to buy it, but there is the makings of a possible opportunity. And I want to just take a look quickly at the daily chart that might give us some indication on the possibility of near-term volatility. So here, this is just a line chart, but it's the same idea. There's a line chart of the of the Bitcoin index. You can see it kind of has pulled back, a little bit of a consolidation there, and it seems to be breaking out, which is all very bullish. However, the sentiment, sorry, not sentiment, but the momentum indicators like stochastics and RSI are pretty overbought. These are shorter term momentum indicators. So you don't necessarily trade long-term off of them, but there is a little bit of overbought environment. Now, those overbought situations, as you can see here, can last a while. So stochastics can stay high for very long periods of time, as you can see here, like months at a time, and RSI can too. So this overbought signal we're getting may not be all that significant, but it's something you should keep an eye on, because when they hook down, as you can see, they hook down, and that can often result in a significant pullback. Now, MACD though, even on the daily chart, is looking pretty darn bullish. So MACD is a little bit longer term indicator. So both on the weekly and daily charts, we're seeing a pretty positive looking picture with the potential maybe for some pullback. As a trader, I probably consider legging in to Bitcoin. And that means that if you wanted a given position, let's say 6% of your portfolio, I'm just using that as a number, it's not a recommendation, you might consider putting 1 or 2% in at this moment and then waiting to see if it continues moving off of that little consolidation pattern we saw on the daily chart, buy some more. To me, this is a trade only. So when you see the upswing on this chart begin to round over, you've seen what it did on the weekly chart. It tends to round over and fall pretty hard. So my own 2 cents worth is it might be an okay trading opportunity right now to get into Bitcoin, but I'd be very cautious about entering it a bit at a time and don't commit too much capital up front. It's a very precarious, semi-bullish look right now. It does have potential, but it's not 100% exciting in my view. Still, there's potential. So my view is possible short-term trading opportunity. Look for an exit if it does make you some profit, and get out, because this is not a buy and hold type of security, at least in my view. Thank you very much for watching, and be sure to visit the blog, which is filled with a lot of different topics that go into much more depth than I do in the videos here. So I do hope you subscribe to the blog, and if you don't already, you can subscribe to the video, which will arrive in your mailbox every week, just like we do at the blog for our something like 3,000 blog readers. Thank you very much for watching, and you have a great trading day.